So let's go and talk about types and type conversion. I mean convert the types to each other. Convert integer to float, for example float to a string or anything else. Let's start with a simple example. Let's assume that we have two variables, one of them with amount of and value of 10 and another one with value of 3.3. The first one is integer and the second one is float number. So let's assume that we have another variable here to keep the amount of a plus b. What will be the output? The output will be let me print it out. The output will be 13 point, let me write again, 13.3. What will be the type? The type will be type of C will be float here. As you can see, the value and amount of that. Okay, so if you plus some integer value with float value, the output will be float. Okay, let's assume that it's 10.7. The output will be 14. Am I right? But what is the type of the output? It will be integer or it will float. Let's see what we have here. It will be float and the output has the shape like this, 14.0. Okay, so let's go and continue with another example. Let's assume that we want to convert a string to integer. So we have a string with the name of that string is str, the name of our variable or anything else, and the value of that will be 1, 2, 3 as a string. If I put these quotation marks here, it will identify this variable as a string. If I don't put them, it will be integer. So I want it as a string. And I want to convert that to integer. Let's assume we have int variable, for example. We can simply type int keyword. This is int will be the keyword. It means I want to convert to integer and pass the str to it. And let's print it out. Print the type of the int var, and also I want to print type of str. So let's go and let's see what will happen. If you can see, the first one, int var, the type of that will be integer. The amount of that will be 1, 2, 3 as an integer, not as a string. Okay, and the type of str is a string. It's a conversion of a string to integer. What will happen if we want to convert integer to float? We saw some example from that. Let's have another example here. Let's assume that we have x variable and the amount of that variable will be 10 as an integer. So the type of x is integer and the value of that will be 10. And I want to have another variable to convert this x to float with the float keyword. This is a keyword that we have here. This is a class. I will explain the class in the future session and lectures. Okay, if I print them out, I want type of C and amount of C, and type of X will be integer, but let's have that here. If I run this, we can see that we have float as type of C. The amount of that will be something like 10.0. It converts integer to float number. So the amount of that will be something like this. Okay, so it was conversion for integer to float. Let's have another thing here. We want to convert float number, for example 10.5, to integer. What do you think? What will be our output? The type of that, I mean type of B, let's have it here, will be integer. And type of A is float. But what is the amount of B? I mean this parameter that we have here at middle in the print. What is that? What do you think? Let me run that. So A is float, as we can see. The amount of B is 10 right now. It rounded. It deletes the fixed point part of the number. When I convert from a float to integer, the fixed point part will be deleted. So pay attention to this so you won't make a mistake in your codes when you want to calculate something, and also when you want to convert some types to each other. Let's have another example here. I talked about conversion of a string to integer. We had it here, 1, 2, 3 to integer. So what will be happen if the amount of this string is not a string number? What am I mean? What will happen if we have this here, for example? 1, 2, C character, and after that 3. Let's just run the code and let's see what will happen. As you can see, we have error here. It said, okay, I'm trying to convert this string to integer, but I'm not able to do that. The amount of this string is not something that we can convert to integer. Integer will just allow numbers, but we have a character here. In our code and in the future project, you will face some kind of this issue. But we should prevent these kind of errors. Okay, we have this. Don't return any error. Just please tell us that we have an error and we can't convert. How we can do that? How we can handle it? We have something that here will comes up. It's try and catch, try and expect. What's that? It's something that I will discuss more in the future, but right now I want to briefly discuss about that. I will write some codes here. I will say to the compiler, try to convert, let me cut it and put it here. Try convert the str to integer. I mean try to convert the str variable, that is a string right now, try convert to integer. If it's okay, so after that, after you convert that, just please print it out for me. If no, what will happen if you are not able to do that? We have something here, we can say expect, and then we can say print we are not able to convert. So in this case, when I run that, simply we can say we have this log here. We are not able to convert. In the previous scenario that we didn't have any try expect, the application crashed, and it's happened, and it go out from the application. For example, if it's Django, or if it write that in the backend, maybe it will cause problem in our servers. But if we have these kind of try except, it means try to do something, but if you are not able to do that and I have any error in that, please don't return any error or maybe a crash. Just skip these lines and don't do them and go to the except parts. It's something that I will mention in the future sections, but it's very important to know when you want to convert a type. It's better to do it in this way to prevent any crashes in your application, website, or anything else.